Welcome to our exploration of Buddhism, a philosophy and spiritual tradition that has influenced millions around the globe for over 2 millennia. Today, we'll delve into the history of Buddhism, tracing its origins, development, and the various branches that have emerged throughout the years. Our story begins in the 5th to 4th century BCE in ancient India with the birth of Siddhartha Gautama, who would later become known as the Buddha, meaning the Enlightened One. Siddhartha was born into a royal family in Lumbini, present-day Nepal. Legend has it that his mother, Queen Maya, experienced a miraculous dream foretelling his greatness. As a young prince, Siddhartha lived a life of luxury, shielded from the suffering of the world. However, at the age of 29, he ventured outside the palace and encountered what are known as the four sights: an old man, a sick man, a dead body, and a wandering ascetic. These encounters profoundly affected him, leading him to renounce his royal life in search of a solution to the suffering he witnessed. Siddhartha embarked on a quest for spiritual understanding, studying under various teachers and practicing severe asceticism. He sought enlightenment through meditation and self-denial. But after years of rigorous practice, he realized that this path did not lead to true understanding. Determined to find a middle way between indulgence and extreme asceticism, Siddhartha decided to meditate beneath a sacred fig tree, now known as the Bodhi tree, in Bodh Gaya, India. After 49 days of deep meditation, Siddhartha attained enlightenment, gaining insight into the nature of suffering, the causes of suffering, and the path to liberation. Upon his enlightenment, the Buddha discovered the Four Noble Truths, which form the foundation of Buddhist teaching: the truth of suffering, dukkha. Life is marked by suffering and dissatisfaction. The truth of the cause of suffering, samudaya. Suffering arises from craving and attachment. The truth of the end of suffering, nirodha. It is possible to end suffering and achieve nirvana, a state of liberation and freedom from the cycle of rebirth. The truth of the path to the end of suffering, magga. The path leading to the end of suffering is the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path consists of right understanding, right intention, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentration. Together, these teachings guide individuals in their journey towards enlightenment. After his enlightenment, the Buddha began to teach. He gathered followers and established a monastic community known as the Sangha. His teachings attracted many, and Buddhism began to spread across India and beyond. The first council of Buddhism was held shortly after the Buddha's death around 483 BCE. It aimed to preserve his teachings and the monastic community's rules. The second council followed in the 4th century BCE, addressing disputes over monastic discipline. Buddhism began to flourish during the reign of Emperor Ashoka in the 3rd century BCE. After a bloody conquest, Ashoka embraced Buddhism and promoted its teachings across his empire, sending missionaries to regions such as Sri Lanka, Central Asia, and beyond. This marked a significant turning point, leading to the establishment of Buddhism as a major world religion. As Buddhism spread, it began to diversify into different schools of thought. The two main branches that emerged are Theravada and Mahayana. Theravada, often referred to as the School of the Elders, is considered the oldest surviving form of Buddhism. It emphasizes the individual pursuit of enlightenment and the importance of monastic life. Predominantly practiced in Sri Lanka, Thailand, Burma, and Cambodia, Theravada Buddhism focuses on the original teachings of the Buddha as preserved in the Pali Canon. Mahayana, or the Great Vehicle, emerged later and is more inclusive, allowing for a broader interpretation of Buddhist teachings. Mahayana Buddhism emphasizes the role of the bodhisattva, a being who seeks enlightenment not just for themselves but for the sake of all sentient beings. This branch is prevalent in countries like China, Japan, Korea, and Tibet. Mahayana encompasses various schools, including Zen, Pure Land, and Tibetan Buddhism. Throughout the centuries, Buddhism has continued to evolve and adapt to different cultures. In Tibet, it blended with local beliefs to create a unique form known as Tibetan Buddhism, characterized by its rich rituals, iconography, and the practice of Vajrayana, or Tantric Buddhism. In East Asia, Buddhism intertwined with Confucianism and Taoism, leading to distinctive forms such as Chan, Zen in China, and Seon in Korea, which emphasize meditation and direct experience over textual study. In the modern era, Buddhism has made its way to the West, gaining popularity in the 20th century. Many Western practitioners are drawn to its philosophy, mindfulness practices, and emphasis on compassion. This blending of traditional practices with modern psychology has opened new avenues for individuals seeking spiritual fulfillment. In contemporary society, Buddhism faces new challenges and opportunities. Globalization and technology have led to the dissemination of Buddhist teachings worldwide. Various Buddhist teachers, such as Thich Nhat Hanh and the Dalai Lama, have gained international recognition, promoting messages of peace, compassion, and mindfulness. Buddhism has also seen a resurgence in interest among Western audiences, with mindfulness meditation becoming a popular practice in stress reduction and mental health. This blending of traditional practices with modern psychology has opened new avenues for individuals seeking spiritual fulfillment. In conclusion, the history of Buddhism is a rich and complex journey that began with the life of Siddhartha Gautama over 2,500 years ago. From its humble beginnings in ancient India, Buddhism has transformed into a global tradition, adapting to different cultures and addressing the needs of diverse populations. As we reflect on the teachings of the Buddha and the various schools of Buddhism, we are reminded of the core principles that resonate through time: the importance of compassion, the quest for understanding, and the path towards liberation from suffering. Thank you for joining us on this exploration of the history of Buddhism. We hope you've gained a deeper understanding of this profound spiritual tradition and its lasting impact on the world.